Match number 2 on the day. Welcome back from the break. Here's something interesting about this matchup. Going into the previous one, the first one on the day that was Aerial Arise and Luminosity, you had two teams. One was 4-1, the other one was 5-1. We are living in a parallel universe right now with Aqualix and One Shot, because this matchup is two teams. They're 1-5 and 1-4. So the opposite results so far this stage of the two teams that we just saw. So maybe we'll have a similar result, but not in the same way. Cookies. Let's start with Aqualix, because man, it's been tough for them this stage. They, as we said in the intro, they played their way out of a spot.
This was supposed to be Penguins, like when Michael Joe was like, "I'm back," and he was wearing the 4-5 and all that. It hasn't gone the way I think he thought it would, or the way we thought it would.
It's kind of magical.
You know what's hilarious? Gasher's like, he's tweeting at Afer, like he's sending him memes of encouragement to like get him fired up for the game. Psychosis is tweeting anime memes to try to get the team fired up. They haven't given up on the season just yet, right? There's still stuff to play for. They can't go to playoffs. They can't finish top 4 or whatever, but they can mess up One Shot's day to day. And we all know One Shot's obviously not having a great stage either. So, playing spoiler is just as good as being spoiled. Did I say that right or backward? You know what I mean.
Sure.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Good enough.
We'll trust that what you said was correct. We'll trust it. But One Shot, they as well, this stage, another team that had looked so good all year so far, just not there so far in this stage.
I'm convinced One Shot's playing the long con. They knew that they were going to be secured for playoffs no matter what happened this year. So they're just playing for playoffs. Like that's my logic. They're hiding everything. There's not a single strat that they're going to be playing in the playoffs that they've shown here. That's why they're playing boring operators. That's why Prod's baiting all day and getting really high stack counts. That's why, Swalin's just, taking it easy and coasting along through the games. I don't know. It feels like this is a team that we expect a lot from. And this stage, like they were good in stage 1, they were good in stage 2, they were good in stage 3 last year, and yet like for a whole year they were really solid, and they're just falling flat, and it's kind of sad to see.
Well, the worrying thing is like they have these star players that it's either they show up or they don't. There's not really like a middle ground so far in their game. Aqualix, it isn't really a show up or don't situation. They just literally haven't shown up.
Mm-hmm. And if we want to talk about critical points on Aqualix, all right. Yesterday, I watched Penguin on Border. I know I wasn't crazy. I know I wasn't seeing. He was on Blitz, which I like that side of Penguin. You know me.
Yep.
Y'all know. He walked in East Stairs, walked down the office hallway, and ADS somebody, like sideways, like with Blitz. Okay, now you see, that's the mark of a man that has nothing to lose. And you guys know the quote, a man that has nothing to lose is the most dangerous. So I want Aqualix to do more of that. I want them to do that. I want them to take the pick out of a page out of the Aerial Rise book, right? Yesterday they were running OSA and they were doing all the craziness against One Shot, and it worked to a devastating effect. They should be creative. They should have fun. They should go out with the intent to grief One Shot, like goofy spawn peaks, cracked barricades, you name it. And I think they will absolutely raffle copter One Shot to face the game today. If they do that, if they leave it on the field, they will do that. But if they play boring as One Shot, we're gonna have a game that makes me very upset, and I'm gonna be disappointed.
I think we're gonna have a good game, but One Shot, Tanner, is it like you said? Are they playing the long con?
I don't think so. I mean, I want to believe that they're gonna come out and impress us today. I do think they're gonna win this game. Spoilers, that is my prediction.
What?
But they're just lacking in some areas. Like their defenses are looking really solid in the early and the mid game, but in the late game they're like baiting each other. They're waiting for frags to go on. They're not C4ing. They're not trading. They just look really, really weak. And then on attack, they're just the most boring team to watch on attack. Like I could name off of the top of my head what their operators are. Okay, you got a Thermite, you got a Habana, you got a Thatcher, you got a Sledge, and you either got an Iona or Zofia. Like it is basic. It is so basic. You don't see Glass, you don't see Ying plays. You don't see Osa. There's nothing creative or inventive.
Okay,
Maybe they'll bring a knock and then play it.
You're
the same
boring
way.
me just talking about it.
Oh, it's just I want them to bring some more strategic depth. Like just bring something new to the field. Maybe then they can throw Aqualix off their game. I mean, Aqualix isn't looking that great either, but that's what they need to do if they want to win today.
So map veto cookies, because Tanner, even though he spoiled his prediction, there's no possible way he knows the map yet. How can he vote without knowing the map?
I actually don't know the map.
Well, me neither. I didn't get to look at the little cheat doc, so I don't know. This is going to be a surprise to me as it is to y'all. But one thing isn't a surprise is a one-shot banning out anything that would be fun. Skyscraper was a map. that was a chance, and that's the one thing they've kind of shown that's like advanced, right? They've shown this stage that they're willing to play Skyscraper now, and they insta-ban it. So now we're going to go all the way to Villa, where Aqualix, we already know, at least historically, they've played this about 62 trillion times between now and like stage 2. There's a lot of Villa and Aqualix. There's a lot of the I guess if you really want to go back and think about this with some quantum depth, Parabellum was a great Villa team. Penguin was from Parabellum, and you know what, Afer, if you guys remember Slaughterhouse or whatever team he was on last year, you know what I mean, Marm and all them, they were great at Villa too. They were close second to PB. So you've got a pretty defined nasty Villa team in Aqualix. It's everything points to that. You guys are. Is this glitched? Is this a fake video?
I feel like you just want to be different sometimes. You're just trying to go against the grain and be
Did y'all
cool.
watch the same game?
Every time I voted for Aqualix so far this stage, they have lost. That's it. Like every time I'm like, man, if they just brought effort. But here's the thing, they don't bring effort, and they even showed it in the map bans where they're banning the perma-ban map for One Shot Theme Park. One Shot's banned that all year. Perma-ban that map. Aqualix bans it for them. Why would you lose map bans that way? I don't. So that's about as much effort that they're putting into this game.
I'll say this, Tanner. You're like, if every time I voted for Aqualix, they've lost. Well, considering they're 1-5, there was only a 20% chance that if you had voted for them, that was the winning one, because there's been a lot of losing so far. But CJ, we're not without loss voting for One Shot so far this year either, being 1-4. Why do you think that you're going to prove us wrong with your Aqualix vote? You think you know more than us, more than everyone else?
I have a question. I just said, like, Aqualix is good.
Sorry. I had the question.
No, I'm asking your question with a question that's a question. I'm questioning your question.
Counterpoint? No.
Why? Tanner, you said Aqualix lost this map ban?
Yeah.
You think One Shot's better at Villa than Aqualix?
No. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a map that One Shot typically permaban. So if they're bringing it out, they're going to be hiding something on it.
Or they're trolling. That's the thing, Tanner. They could be trolling us right now. They're going to map.
They're playing
no
the
chance
long
of winning.
con, Brim.
That's what I'm saying, right? Why are you guys picking One Shot? You already know what they're about at this point. You already know they're playing us.
Okay,
I think we're fools.
I'll say this though, Tanner. This is in our defense of One Shot, and this is a little bit of a stab at Aqualix. First off, we've seen them a ton on Villa, but we haven't seen this Aqualix on Villa yet. They haven't played it yet this stage, okay? First point. Second point is that even when we did see them all those times before in Villa, it never felt like we were seeing the same team on Villa every time.
I found another good counterpoint. Since the first Playday, Aqualix haven't got more than 3 rounds in a game. That's it. They played 5 games and they've gotten, I'll read it out here, 3-2, 3-2, 3. That's why I'm voting for One Shot.
Wait, Tanner, don't you need
7?
7?
Twice.
Is it 7? Yeah,
double,
7 to win?
Double or triple. What they've been getting, yeah. Good luck,
What
CJ.
say you, CJ, to those numbers?
But you see, if Gordon Ramsay opened up a pasta restaurant, we would know.
If this leads into Gavini,
it has
somehow,
nothing to do with Gavini.
Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
Since because we know Gordon Ramsay's a crazy good chef, right? Like historically, we know he can make a really good pasta. So
He's
if he opens
deflecting,
up,
Tanner.
if he opens up a pasta restaurant, we should know that his previous pasta skills will translate to the new restaurant. Why would that not be the case for Penguin and Afer on this Aqualix team that we've never seen on Villa today? They're opening a new pasta restaurant on Villa. Don't you guys get it?
Because nothing Aqualix has done this stage has made any sense.
But you just said they haven't played Villa yet. That's the one thing. That's the one thing we should have faith in.
I'll say this. I'm not changing my vote, but I would love to actually see CJ right in this scenario. I think it would be hilarious.
I know this would be my most satisfying one because y'all just forgot. You guys have forgotten.
CJ, can we let them play already? Can we just?
I'm down to watch the game.
Can we?
Yeah.
Has to start the game.
We're in agreement. Yeah. Let's watch the game.
Go.
Okay, well, after that, I could use, I guess, some pasta. I'm a little hungry now.
I need a nap, bro. I need to.
We don't know what just happened. I don't know what they were talking about. I mean, CJ, he's hungry. Clearly, he wants some pasta.
Gordon Ramsay's
I do
here
too.
now.
Apparently, Gordon Ramsay's in Challenger League.
Is he Aqualix's coach? I didn't know this.
That'd be
he's
honestly
not on
nice.
the roster.
We don't know. I mean, they're chock full of surprises at this point, and I think maybe that's what we can expect on this map is a bunch of surprises. If that analyst segment was any clue as to what they know of what's going on, then I think nobody knows at all what's going on because clearly there was some miscommunication there to some degree. But with all that aside, we can dive into this map finally. We can see what Villa we've got in store for us. We'll dive into our operator bans. We'll see what we won't be dealing with, at least, on this matchup between Aqualix and One Shot. No Flores and no Rotero drones. That'll be the first thing off the board.
No Thatcher either. Shocking. Can't believe it. We're getting crazy stuff. We have yet to see. We'll see any shenanigans in the ban phase, and if One Shot will be the one to produce them, or if Aqualix will be the one to produce them. Valkyrie next up. Jonah, I am shocked. I am dismayed even at the turn this ban phase has taken. It's been very normal so far. I mean, obviously, Rotero drones, you're trying to play a defense. Rotero drones coming at your deployable shield, not something you want to see. Kiba barriers, also not something you want to see on any map, for that matter, to be perfectly frank. Could be Border, could be Skyscraper, could be Club, could be Villa. Just something you don't want to deal with. But really, Jonah, for being honest, nothing crazy so far. If we are going to see a crazy, bombastic Italian game from Aqualix, if CJ is to be correct, then we've yet to see any evidence of it.
Yeah, so far, the standard stuff here on Villa, but I suppose both of these teams could quickly destroy those expectations with a little bit of spice in this first round. But in terms of our operator selection on both sides of the picture, looks relatively simple stuff. Psychosis will be bringing out the Alibi, which is, of course, not the most common pick, but is also not that surprising either. You give Psychosis an incredible gun, you bring out a deployable shield, and you bring out a primary gadget that can, on occasion, give you some pretty good intel to work with. And same thing goes for One Shot, right? Instead of the Lion, it looks like Prod will be switching over to the Jackal. So very similar operator to that previous pick of his in terms of purpose, in terms of the role he is going to fit into this overall attacking scheme, because he is, of course, going to be that primary roam clear operator to help speed up any map control that One Shot are looking to secure.
There are a few players off-site inside a trophy statuary. NVK will wrestle with one fairly early on. Take a bullet to the shoulder, but won't be dissuaded against holding this angle outside of Master Bedroom, at least for the moment. Jackal is going to be the most useful for that, because I think One Shot, well, I'm pretty sure they know where all of these defenders are playing. They know someone is trophy statuary, and if they know there's one there, there's probably another one close by. They'll have to require maybe some concussions or flashbangs or grenades to deal with these players, but NBK, he'll just send it on in a little bit by himself right now. But at a minute in, Aqualix, they do the smart move. They retreat after that first minute elapses, and they don't give an opportunity for One Shot to gain a man advantage early on.
Well, NBK, after that early scuffle, right, he's successfully worked his way up with now a couple of teammates down below to the 90 hall. Razor will join him as he works his way up the red stairs. And now that they've successfully secured that control, Aper will have to back off. Psychosis will have to keep a weather eye on the horizon as that horizon is starting to fill up of one-shot bodies. The first one drops. Razor is the first to fall. The Yana is no more. And that's a pretty good early pick now for this Aqualix defense. I'm not sure if Razor got both of those nades utilized yet. At the very least, I think he had at least one in pocket when he went down. And of course, that's utility that you're going to want back.
Still one of your key entries, no longer on the board at playing aggressive. Does spot one on red stairs. NVK gets one, but that's still Aqualix holding on to the man advantage because of their defenders getting so aggressive. Penguin off the side, Hat in the side, all working out. Now Penguin will even peek out to study Balk. Pop goes the Weasel. Hilo goes down. 4v2, 4v1 for one shot. By golly, Jonah. What is Prod to do? But instead falter Penguin's MPX as he gets a triple kill on the round. And we start off an Aqualix victory, but despite how dominant it was, still felt very measured overall.
Right, measured from both teams. It was one shot who really took their time as they worked their way in, and it was Aqualix who didn't just decide to flip a switch and throw everything but the kitchen sink at one shot. Instead, it was a pretty patient defensive performance. They maintained the control of the objective while slowly backing off on that side of the top floor. And little did one shot know, at the same time, Aqualix were mounting a little bit of a flank. It was Penguin who worked his way all the way up towards the other side, flanked up from Astro, worked his way through this master, this trophy and statuary side, and surprised the attack when they were most vulnerable. One of those defenders slipped through that net of control that one shot had hoped to establish, whether that was somebody not watching a flank drone or simply a flank drone that wasn't in position, or a little bit of complacency maybe from the attacking side. Whatever it may be, it was a little bit of a mistake. Allowing Aqualix to exploit that weakness and take advantage of it, they did.
Probably just going to try to repeat a similar strategy on Trophy Statuary now. Start out with an extension. This one a little bit more solid, though. But then rotate back probably after that first minute 15, minute 30. I say more solid because they're running a mirror, and they have placed a mirror window over on that Aviator game side alongside the two roamers we would likely expect to play that spot. For one shot, they aren't even looking to tackle it, at least for the moment. They might rotate later on, but most of the attackers are placed on this Trophy Statuary side, going for a direct take. We did see Razor spawn over by Aviator Games in the beginning. They do need to be careful, as Razor was the opening pick last time, that he has enough drones in front of him and enough intel to try and make any sort of solo lurk work. But how Aqualix, how easily they were able to pick them off, yeah. You'll rotate back over to the rest of the team and try to get control down below, still playing separate, but still with people close by likely to trade them out.
Psychosis and Afer both lurking below. Like you said, playing close by, but not on each other's hip. They're not going to be wed to each other right now because they've got support from above, it would seem. Penguin with a little bit of a surprise for Razor from the hatch that the Yana simply was not expecting. And with that opener, it looks like Penguin is going to be confident enough to stay on the prowl, getting off that angle right at the last second before one shot swung it. But the rest of this defense is still proving how fluid they can be, really working their way around this map and not giving up any amount of control for free.
Psychosis gives away a free pick, makes it a 5v4 to a 4v4 by hopping out and dying to a Claymore, but honestly, one shots early round looking terrible. I mean, they allow Penguin to run out of Brick Store, look down the hatch and kill Razor. No one watching. No one got a drone on the position. Can't even kill him rotating back. And the only reason they have this 5v4 is Psychosis got aggressive and pushed out. There we go. That's something I like to see. NVK moves in, actually takes a fight with the defender, wins it. Somebody rotating in the side. 4v3 now, 4v2. All right, looking a lot better than their shoddy start to begin with.
Yeah, NBK is just plowing through the remaining defenders on this site. Afer will have something to say about that, and 2 kills to bounce back. Both Prod and NBK are now lost. Kilo and Swaylin are going to have to make something happen, but Kilo is well surrounded. He's got the diffuser, and he's going to work his way back towards his teammate to try to survive a little bit longer. But after being lit up, the only thing he's going to focus on is getting this diffuser down. Well-tossed C4, though, from Beastly. That takes Swaylin out of the picture, but Kilo, he was left untouched while getting that bomb down. It's going to have to be a retake, but one that Beastly will do no problem. He'll sneak around from the back while Afer was running distraction, and Beastly claims that kill and gets the defuse to boot. Aqualix take 2 in a row.
Ended how we began with one shot in round number 2. Poor coordination. We start out with a clear down below combined with a direct take up top. Totally fine. Not objectionable by any means. Only problematic part, Razor's in laundry. There's a hatch above him. But Razor probably, reasonably assumes, I've got attackers on bedroom balcony. They've opened up the window. They might be able to watch that door. No. There was no one watching the brick store. Penguin just runs out, kills him from above the hatch, and runs back scot-free. And the fact that one shot don't trade that, it's befuddling. They are on bedroom window. It is watching the door. You don't even need to expose yourself to the mirror window to do that. But then they were able to get the man advantage back to bring it to a 4v2. All right, we're looking good. But then NBK and Swaylin, they're moving into bathroom together. The rest of one shot, they take 2 1v1s with Afer on the bedroom wall and then the brick store. And your 2v4 now become a 2v2. Now Swaylin and NBK were playing off each other. Or I believe it was Swaylin and Kilo, actually, excuse me. But it was still 2 1v1s that then gave the man advantage away to Aqualix. And then they end up able to clutch it out by isolating the player, covering Kilo on the plant. I mean, we got to see better from one shot. We got to see better if we're going to have any hope of a good attacking half.
Yeah, round number 3 will be the big test. We go to our tertiary objective. We go down to kitchen and dining. And we can see if this attack really has any merit, any hopes of bringing this one back and keeping it close. Otherwise, it'll have to be a one-shot defensive half to really dictate the flow of this game. But that is still 4 rounds away. A lot of attacks to go for this one-shot side. And, well, a lot of opportunities that they have to get these kills, right? These extensions from Aqualix still ever present through round number 3. So far, every round has seen some bit of this defensive aggression on the side of Aqualix, and right now it's going, well, I was gonna say punished because Hat was getting lit up, but he will end up claiming the opening pick for himself. Eventually getting traded off, and Penguin falling right after means that with Swaylin getting that kill, one shot have taken the advantage here in the early round.
They do lose Razor, but in exchange, they take down Legion. Not a super important operator overall, but a roamer that needed to be dealt with. But more importantly, they take down the smoke. Now, that might just make it a fair trade. 1-man advantage, a 4v3, and you take down the smoke in exchange for a set of nades. Is it great? No, but definitely one I think one shot will not be disappointed that they came away with, especially with now clearing out that roam over by Aviator Games. Mid and the late round, they have a man advantage. They can start moving in through the map, but they need to nail down these roamers. Find where they are. Drone out Afer and Psychosis inside a master bedroom, and be careful of this pulse from below. One shot, have the man advantage to collapse on these roamers, but if they don't have intel on this pulse, well, their man advantage might just be erased in one fell swoop.
Yeah, there it is. With NBK sent sky high, that's 2 bodies, and all the nades that one shot brought into this lobby, gone. Prod, Swaylin, and Kilo to do something about that, though, and Prod will step up at the right time, getting his first kill, that one onto Afer. That'll be big, shutting down the Oryx. No more crazy rotations, no more hatches to worry about. They can simply turn their focus to the 2 remaining defenders down below. That's Beastly and Psychosis, both tucked in their respective corners. Beastly scrambling around as he feels a little bit unsafe as this attacking pressure builds. You hear these X-Kairos pellets now detonating, and that will inspire Beastly to step up and, well, to get his head taken clean off. Psychosis, this long angle from the pantry. The only thing he can do to stop this is getting aggressive. He gets 1 and nearly the second, but cannot land the headshot before falling to Swaylin, rather, Kilo himself. So, well done in the end there by one shot to hang on to that advantage that they established in the early round and closing it out in the end.
And once they got that man advantage as well, even though they lost it to the C4 from below, still able to take fights on the roam, take down defenders rotating back. They didn't have a lot of great angles at their disposal, you know, no an Astro window, you know, bathroom window as well, but Prod is still able to win the fight with Aether rotating back to the site, and at that point, one shot, take a step back, it's still like a minute 15 seconds left. You don't need to start sending it. And they lose some bodies here and there, but they still play it close. They don't get too ahead of themselves, and they're able to close it out because of that man advantage they established early on. Again, it was not a perfect round from one shot, but that's the kind of round, at its core, you need. Getting a man advantage, playing off of it, and not giving any picks away. Now, Penguin is Caveira, and he is ratting in basement. Jonah,
Yep.
I'm getting nervous. My blood pressure is rising every second that goes on.
See, I feel like for me it's a little bit more excitement, you know, the nerves.
No,
you know, I'm excited.
I'm scared.
I'm excited
nervous.
to see Penguin make something happen. You know, we'll put you in the scared corner. You know, I'll be in the excited corner, and then well, one shot. I suppose we'll see how they're feeling in a couple of seconds, right? We'll see if they get a read on this. If not, they'll probably join you in the absolutely terrified corner because, yeah, it is not the best idea to work your way into the map not knowing that there is a cav to creep up behind you and surprise you towards the late round. But one shot, they've got their sneaky player of their own. They've got Razor entering down below on the Nook. All the while, they are building some pressure up above as well. NBK will strike first, having a great start to this map in round number 4 as well, as he will enter the building and take down Hat. Now, Razor goes down with an interrogation to come into play. Penguin from below trying to get it done, but one shot, they are going to tuck tail and run, trying to get out of the building, but NBK overstays his welcome, and he dies to a smoke.
This is the greatest game in Challenger League history. I don't care anything that's come before. I don't care in all the years CL's been alive. Best game right here. First time I've ever seen an interrogation happen in an actual, like, league of note. That's pretty wild. I would laugh, too. I'd find that very funny. You're taking advantage of the Nook's own playstyle, not just Razors, just the Nook in general, lurking around in the belly of the building. NVK ends up dying later on, maybe due to the intel, maybe due to just kind of being alone in closet and utility being dumped, tossed at him. What is one shot to do at this point? They still have the hard breacher, or at least the player that normally plays Study, being Kilo, and they have control of this trophy statuary side. They have a minute, still 6 drones on the board, 3 that can be active. Gain this intel. You don't have any nades, but you might be able to play trades on some important positions. Maybe try swing the player in vault, or Kilo might just need to work a pick. But right now, one shot are working with the bare minimum, and time is slowly moving down. Those smoke grenades, they might be able to cut off angles as well, but again, this is the bare minimum that they can use, and everything needs to land if they want to win this round.
Oh, Penguin, not again! He gets another, and that's Prod. This is a brutal way to lose a round for one shot. Penguin gets another one onto Swaylin. Are you kidding me? What a round from Penguin, the Cav, to just put his team on his back and take the round win for Aqualix in the most brutal fashion that you could imagine. Wow. 3-1 Aqualix, and that one's got to sting.
Yeah, that wasn't great. That was just, that was not the best. I mean, listen, even the best of teams sometimes, the teams competing at the highest level, they get a little sloppy. They just assume that some things are clear, right? Why the hell would you drone below a desk in the basement? Are you in gold ranked? No. Why would you check there? But this is Aqualix we're talking about. This is a team that, as the desk mentioned, might be beyond caring, and they are leaving it all on the field, to use the parlance that CJ used. You gotta check that, man. You still have to do it. It's an easy mistake to make. You can't let that lapse in judgment get you, because as a result, that interrogation not only gives the man advantage to AQ, completely stops one shots clear, and then gives AQ an opportunity to cement their man advantage further. I mean, what else is there to say? What else is there to say? One shot got an interrogation done on him. Like,
more Cav, more Cav. Give me more.
I would love more Cav. Can we get a more Cav in chat, please?
Maybe Penguin will see that in time, and maybe we'll get it in the last round. But right now, he's switched off to the Ella instead of the more fun operator. Come on, Penguin. We like fun, man. He's doing great though. 7-2 after that beautiful performance in round number 4. And one shot, they are now facing a tough task, right? I mean, they are going to attack Trophy and Statuary. They've got an extension to work their way through, but the tougher task is to now get into the building and, you know, to do it in a reasonable amount of time. After you get absolutely destroyed by a cab, I imagine mentally it's pretty tough to not double check every corner as you're droning your way in, because there could be so many defenders lying in wait. There it is again. Hat goes for 2. Aqualix as a whole go for 3. There's a 4th with Penguin down below, and one shot are crumbling to pieces in front of our eyes. It is Prod, the last player standing. After I thought there would be so much more patience from one shot entering the building, it looks like we saw the exact opposite. They tried to force the issue, and they got torn to shreds.
AQ put a lot more people on the roam this time, Jonah. It was not just Hat behind a shield on main stairs with one guy to support. No, there were a few players. Some even to make sure that the rotations back for AQ were clear and sound. And as you said, one shot, they kind of played it the way they did before, didn't they? Round's over, by the way. I'm just gonna keep talking. They didn't even change up what they did before. No shield, it's fine. We'll just have Razor and NBK sprint in a second go around. It's fine. It'll work out. Sadly, Jonah, it did not work out. It did not work out. It didn't work. They just sprinted in, and was there really anything beyond maybe some flashbangs to cover them? I mean, Jonah, actually,
Yeah.
Was there anything other than flashbangs?
I don't think there was much, right? They
I don't
tried
think there was
to
either.
drone it out, right? We saw some bare minimum, like, early entry prep, but other than that, they just kind of walked in and died. I don't know what to say.
And listen, okay? Sit down, son. I'll level with you. I know it's AQ. I know they're like 1 in like 12. You gotta still do your work. You gotta do your work. You can't just assume you'll win the fight like that. I mean, it's 4-1 right now. You know, we gotta see more from one shot. We need to see more. Because AQ, they're playing the game in front of them and they're winning it. You can't just let them play the game they want to play and run into their crossfires. Can't do it.
It's so wild that we're in stage 3 and this is where we're at. That we've got a one-shot team, you know, formerly one of the best teams in Challenger League, with 4 points total, and getting smoked by Aqualix. And on the other side, we've got Aqualix with 2 points total this stage, also formerly one of the best teams in Challenger League.
Stage 2 champion.
It's crazy that we've come to this point where both of these teams seem to be struggling just, you know, to get through the basics. But, you know, the ebb and flow of CL is real. It happens, right? Things don't always go your way. And, you know, late in stage 3, when, you know, the pressure is not as massive, maybe we are seeing a little bit of more active, more excited play from all of these players. I mean, you see Psychosis just swinging back and forth. No way does he get that kill. Good shot there onto Razor. He'll lose his life, or appearing to lose his life because of it. He'll actually back away and get revived here. So he is still up in this fight.
Terrifying if I'm one shot. Razor, by the way, I believe that is his 4th loss in an opening duel at a bare minimum so far. All right, we're just not even droning anymore. I see what kind of game we're playing. Hat gets aggressive on top of book stairs. Bam! Down goes NVK. Smart decision, Kilo.
Bye-bye.
Do not repel into 90 window. I just wouldn't even want to deal with that right now. Well, Jonah, do you think is this an effective tactical timeout? Do you think they're just kind of going to take this minute 30 to chill?
I think they wished they could chill, but I think Aqualix are going to throw so many bodies at them, it's going to be impossible. Like, we can see Prod. He's just going to force his way into the bomb site. Doesn't even win the first fight against Beast. Aper will take down Hat, and I guess Beastly loses his life, too.
Okay,
Winnable for Kilo. Hold on a minute. He'll turn around, though, and surprise, there's somebody watching him from a different angle. This time from above in the master bedroom hatch. So our first half, despite the shenanigans, is finally all done and dusted. 5-1, favoring what was the defensive side of Aqualix, and is now going to switch as we go into the second half. But Carter, I think your reaction is warranted. One shot are going to take a timeout now.
What? Cav interrogation? Smoked? You couldn't even enter study? Nah, that doesn't warrant a tech timeout. But now that you're switching halves, now that it's a 5-1 half for AQ, and you haven't even played a defense, now let's take the let's hit the pause button, guys. Things might be getting out of control here. Well, let's simmer down there. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? Like, Jonah, they got interrogated by a cav, and then when they went to go clear out study, you know, hey, it's AQ, they're going to play aggressive. I'm totally okay if you end up losing a body on the entry. It happens. The team's getting aggressive. But the attacks have been going wrong for a bit now. We've lost late rounds. We've lost early rounds. We've lost post plants. And now when we swat halves and you haven't played a round, that's when we hit the timeout button. All right, cool, I guess. I mean, it's good to get everything under control, try and get people back on track. But I think we could have done that a little earlier, if you ask me. That's just my opinion, though. Take it with the grain of salt.
I think there's only one thing to say in a moment like this, Carter, and you may think this is a little bit a stretch, but I'd say Aqualix are making some pretty good pasta right now.
I do. I think they've got some flambe going on. The alcohol's burning off. Fresh tomatoes from the garden. They're not just making pasta. They are chefing it up in the kitchen right now. Well, actually they're in Aviator Games. They're not in the kitchen.
Well, they are certainly chefing it up, regardless. You know, fantastic defensive half. They clearly had a good time while doing it.
Well, we do have to say, I did just do a lot of one-shot critiquing. Aqualix are playing a good game, like, for the game that's in front of them right now. They are, when they were on the realm, they were playing crossfires, they were playing together. It's exactly what we want to see from AQ right now. So they have been doing a great job at just playing their defenses the way they were intended. So 100%. I want to give them credit.
100%. They are absolutely making it work right now, and they're exploiting this weakness that they've discovered for one shot, right? They are playing, at least on the defensive side, they were playing in surprising positions. They were all over the place, but they were unified even with that, and they were playing coordinated. Now, that coordination will be tested to a different extreme when they shift to the attacking side. Now, you can't just play in a position as an individual and hope to get some kills. You actually have to be the team to initiate those gunfights and initiate those trades. And now that we're about a minute in, I imagine pretty shortly we will see that very thing tested. But Penguin, as he is showing us throughout this first minute already, he is very excited, very eager to get active all over this map. Tried to make it in one side of the map, didn't work, so he worked his way around towards the other side, and he is just trying every bit of this map that is available to him. He is trying to take that control as quickly as possible.
But he's in a bit of an isolated position right now, Jonah, and that's the problem. Jaeger on red stairs catches him. There's no one for Penguin to trade him out. Meanwhile, the rest of the attack, they're focused on the main stairs right now. They've lost a body as well. Beastly dying early on the Nook of all operators, not what I'm used to. But Aqualix still get that man advantage in hell. Penguin might be by himself, but might still be the one to cause the most chaos for AQ.
Yeah, good early trades there from AQ. They lost the first body, but 2 kills back. That is a great way to enter this final phase of the round. 60 seconds is still ample time, but these final 3 defenders are still spread out. You've got one challenging on the study balcony. That's Razor. You've got another trying to hold off Penguin and successfully holding off Penguin, who is unable to get up the red stairs. Back into an even 3v3 now as Prod tries to put the team on his back, but it's going to be NVK. The last one-shot defense. Hat is in the objective with the case. He's got a chance to get this down, but he's got to be very careful because NVK could spring up from either side at any moment. Looks like Hat may have some idea where he's coming from, though, and he's going to wide swing this angle, very prepared for the engagement, and he'll take NVK's head. 6-1, Aqualix.
CJ's looking real good right now, ain't he, Jonah? He is looking like he foresaw something that we were not seeing. I mean, again, I want to preface this with AQ, you're playing the game in front of them. I'm not the biggest fan of Penguins positioning in that round, but they play AQ's game. They try to go for trades. It ends up working out. But again, one shot just look asleep at the wheel. And I'll be honest, Jonah, I just don't know. I don't have much more to say to that. It's just kind of sad to see how far what was once a titan of CL has fallen to. Again, AQ playing a solid game, but their game isn't even being remotely countered.
Yeah, it's like one shot haven't really shown up to play Aqualix. It's like they showed up to play a different opponent, and that they're still kind of trying to play a different opponent. And, you know, like you mentioned for Aqualix, One Shot are not playing the game that's in front of them. It seems that they are elsewhere, trying to, you know, work with a bit of a different strategy and hope that maybe patience and reason and discipline will win out the day. But Aqualix are going to brute force their way in every time, and they are going to force the issue every time. This is the Aqualix way. They're an incredibly methodical team and an incredibly patient team when they have to be. But Aqualix, as they have proven to us through the course of this entire map, One Shot are not forcing them to be slow and methodical. Aqualix can play confident, they can play loose, they can play fast. And I gotta say, it looks good on them. It really looks good on them when it's working.
And if you're going to implement that playstyle successfully, I mean, a 7-1 victory potentially would be a hell of a statement to make that playstyle as a showcase. Like, hey, we still got it. We can still make it work. Let's see if One Shot can do something similar, though. Look at Prod right now. Playing aggressively. Might be what you need to stop AQ in their tracks, force them to pause, maybe make some mistakes, or commit to some plays they didn't want to before. No shot so far. Instead, AQ will very quickly take map control, Penguin repelling in, Hat moving on into Aviator games, and One Shot, thankfully, rotate out. Don't overcommit. Keep the 5v5. You waste a minute of time on the Realm. Early round so far, solid for One Shot. Nothing to complain about, really.
Yeah, great choice there from Prod. I will wholeheartedly agree with that. He could have easily stayed for 3 to 5 more seconds, and probably 5 seconds would have meant he's dead, right? Maybe he got a kill, but he would certainly have been traded out just a moment later as Aqualix were rolling through that Aviator and game side of the map really, really quickly. So now that they have taken that control, they will shift over to the other side of the map, of course, where One Shot have backed their way off towards. Still looking for any defender down below or extended, but it seems that everyone except for Kilo is in the objective itself. Kilo is playing on those back stairs, trying to prevent anyone from sneaking up and surprising those Astro, those bathroom, or those bedroom players. But as we can see from our outlines here, Aqualix are fully stacked up, and they're ready to go into Trophy. How to make the first move and win the fight against Prod as Penguin tries to follow it up. He will get downed, but he'll get picked back up, and he is still in this fight. 5v4 as Psychosis gets torn apart, but he is still up again. Penguin gets finished off, but this 4v4 is still anyone's game. Swaylin misses one opportunity, but will have a second if he chooses to go for the swing, and he does. There's the kill onto Hat he was looking for. Back to a 3v3. Still back and forth as there are only 25 seconds left. Psychosis strikes next. He goes for 3, and all of a sudden, Kilo is the last man alive. Afer sticking this diffuser. Kilo has to get active now, but he is far too late. It's a 3v1 post plant. One good kill from Kilo. Good headshot there, but the full HP Beastly is now the last player standing. Oh! Kilo's done it! A beautiful triple kill to close out the round. A mess of a round to be sure, but Kilo closing it out with a bang.
Like I said during the aerial game, Jonah, if you're gonna bring it back, it's gonna be a round like that to start the comeback. Now it's a little bit greater of a deficit as opposed to the aerial rise game. But Kilo there played the game in front of him. He's in bedroom, which, by the way, very powerful position to have as a defender if the attack is just pushing from trophy and statuary. So great positioning for Kilo right there. But it's just another case where Kilo is given 3 sets of 1v1s. He's able to take the fight on the reinforcement. He's covered against the player in Astro. Can't see him. The guy in statue or in trophy, he's focused on planting. Takes a 1v1, wins it. Peeks bricks. Again, not exposed to Astro. Able to take another 1v1 as the Nomad falls off and then win the third as he checks that Astro door. So an excellent game plan by Kilo, but I can want to highlight. Aqualix rushed into Trophy and Statuary without Master Bedroom Control or Astro or anything to switch it up aside from those 2 doorways. That is rough for Aqualix. They should have more control than that at that point, whether it be Bedroom or an Astro or something like that. But it still came down to a 1v3. Aqualix went with the most direct take of direct takes, forcing themselves into the tightest of bottlenecks, and they still almost won. I'm glad Kilo had that clutch. It's a good momentum play, but with AQ still having a timeout and able to almost win an attack that one-sided, I'm still worried, but I have hope now.
4 rounds, though, is a big gap. A big gap, no matter the momentum, right? I mean, One Shot are not only going to have to chain 1, 2, 3 rounds together, it needs to be 4. It needs to be flawless from them from this point forward. And Aqualix, they've got a lot of cushion to work with. They can throw any kind of peculiar strategy or sneaky play they want at their opponents. And Penguin will do that once again, finding his 10th kill. Now he's in double digits, but he will eventually lose his life as NVK will surprise him in turn. Hat gets another, though, and shuts down Kilo. And with Razor and Kilo, the 2 players you've taken off the board, the Legion, not a huge deal, but no more smokes. The 0-9 Razor will not be able to make any impact with his utility in this round either.
Razor just having the toughest of tough games against AQ right now. Prod does bring it back, makes it a 3v3, but Aqualix have so much of the control they were looking for, especially on the horizontal. NVK still alive up above. That's solid. You can't, or at least for now, you're denying those vertical angles for AQ, and if they want to add another dimension to their attacks, they'll have to go upstairs. But AQ still have their beachhead. They still have their entry point of the map, and with control of Memorial as well, can likely deny anybody from One Shot from getting too aggressive on that horizontal floor. If they can deal with NVK as well, AQ should be very comfortable to start moving on in. As the drone counter moves low, almost as low as the time is starting to get. 3 drones and 1 minute 10 seconds left for both of those. What are they to do, especially now that Hat is off the board?
Yeah, losing Hat's going to be a problem. That puts them down 1 man, and it still means that NVK is a threat in this round. And guess what? He's still upstairs. Afer and Beasley cannot afford a distraction like this, especially when the time is continuing to tick away. More than that, NVK is going to actually choose to get aggressive. Dangerous for Afer there for all but a moment, because Afer finds a way to win it. Prod has repositioned in the meantime, though, over on the living room and library side of things. So that's going to inspire Aqualix to rotate around. Beastly will creep his way around through Laundry. That support from Afer will no doubt come in soon in a moment. And with that well-timed swing, Afer is able to get that kill onto Swalen. Prod strikes back, though, removing Beastly for good. So Afer is the last player standing and has to find a way to get this case down. Prod creeping through. Memo goes unnoticed, and One Shot takes it. That's 2 in a row, and the start of maybe something big.
Just maybe, Jonah. Just maybe. They've got 2 in a row. They've managed to move below 50% at that halfway point, but this is what I was worried about. AQ still have their tack timeout. They still have that time to reset, to get their affairs in order, and then play 3 more rounds. Attack timeout does not guarantee a round win, of course. We saw that from Aerial Arise in the previous game. One Shot don't have that same opportunity anymore. I mean, I guess they do. They have a pause. The players can talk to each other, but not in the same way. They don't have that coach to maybe move in, reset things. Now One Shot have at least won 2 rounds. 1 off of a clutch, 1 in another 1vx, but this time a 1v1. But they're slowly getting better. They're slowly getting better. One Shot lose a body early on to Penguin just crouch walking his Nook. They're able to trade it out and retain vertical control for a good portion of the round until Afer is just able to lurk and get that kill back. That's not something we've really seen from One Shot all that much before. The ability to retain control for a long period of time and stand fast against AQ, at least in some way. So we're seeing these marginal improvements. First in the individual players showing up. Kilo, who him and NVK have been the best so far, by a wide margin. Been able to retain some control. Likely next, if maybe we're able to have a little bit more impact early on, maybe get an opening kill and cement that man advantage early, That's what I'm looking for in this round. Just, again, those marginal increases that can get one up over AQ.
Well, I like what we're seeing here in terms of a defensive adjustment. Already a good sign from them is that Razor is bringing out the Goyo. We've got those Vulcan canisters in play. Swaylin is still bringing out the smoke, so you still have those toxic waves to add to that utility. But what makes these Vulcan canisters so powerful is the amount of time they can waste and simply the amount of square footage that they can cover. This could be the perfect instrument, as far as the defense is concerned, to slow down this Aqualix attack. That was a problem early, right? Aqualix building a lot of that pressure, but Razor's doing a great job enveloping this entire top floor with that defensive utility. Excited to see how it comes into play.
Of course, how AQ will deal with it. Will they get the space and the time they need early on to nullify the impact of those Vulcan canisters? Can they get an opening pick in the first 45 seconds to a minute? Get this control early. Afer's already hopped into the building, evaded the very angle, watching that window, that mudroom window. He's made it past. So that first opportunity where you could have gone into a 4v5, no longer a fact. Had also now moving into study. Aqualix are going for that main stairs direct take that got them success all the way back at the start of this attacking half. There were some weaknesses, Penguin playing by himself, for example, but right now, he's actually the first one to fall, as AQ have forgotten about these vertical angles from one shot.
And Razor will get on the board. His first kill, and maybe the start of something big from him. Starting to make an impact, not just in terms of the utility game, but now with those kills. Because that utility, it's also going to follow up after those kills are found. We see the toxic smoke on the main stairs. Swaylin starting to feel that pressure, will send another downrange before eventually backing off. Kilo as well being a little active here. In fact, taking the fight, swinging it, and getting two more. Two huge kills with a shotgun prod, and Razor will follow it up back to back, and that is a heck of a way to clean up the round for one shot. They take their third round in a row.
Pulse of life, the breath returning to the body, and now a complete revitalization for one shot after Aqualix take that tactical timeout. And there for one shot, I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't strategic brilliance, but they had their defensive setup. It can very easily counter a main stairs clear if everyone is on their game, and that's what it was for one shot. Everyone was playing the positions the way they should be played. Razor, holding the vertical holes, gets an angle on a Penguin, takes him down. Once they realize that AQ are trying to flood up main stairs, you've got like 8 nitro cells, 4 smoke canisters, Kilo with a shotgun playing close, taking down players as they try to come up. That was exactly how you should and needed in this case to counter a main stairs hold, and that is the round we needed to see for one shot, where they have a setup, and whether it was because of AQ mistakes or because they outplayed them, which it was a little bit of both in this case, they win it out confidently and decisively. Now, these two rounds look a whole lot smaller than they might have looked just a few rounds ago.
Yeah, I mean, from a 5-round gap to a 2-round gap, that is a huge change. Very quickly, this is a realistic comeback for one shot, and it is not the near impossibility that it seemed like only minutes prior. This is doable for them, especially if they keep firing on all cylinders like this. I mean, you see NBK down below. He's looking to get active while the rest of this defense continues just to bolster this setup up above. Everyone on the hunt here, and this is where I'm starting to wonder, is Aqualix going to go for a shift in this strategy? Are they going to continue to bring out some surprises, or are they going to just shift things up, try to change the rhythm, and go for something more dramatic?
Just another direct take right now. We've seen them funnel themselves through these windows and doorways countless rounds so far, and it worked one time on Aviator Games, but since then, it has just not worked for them really on most of these attacking rounds. They're trying to clear out utility though, which I commend, and they even get the first pick. A very useful angle to diversify things. Psychosis on Ashton Repel, able to take down NBK. You lose your Nook in response. That's one set of nades, but AQ are bringing 3. That explosive utility quickly moving down as Prod, sitting on that single panel, swings to the left, takes down 1, swings to the right, bam, there's your second kill of the round. Easily down to 50 HP, and Psychosis just trying to lurk in bottom floor, bring this one back.
Okay, there's a big kill for him. Kilo is taken care of, but Beastly is feeling the pressure. Up above, no support from Psychosis, and Beastly is isolated, and Razor is happy to oblige. He'll take the fight, and there it is, a beautiful shot to nearly solidify the round, because guess what? That's the diffuser dropped up above. It's a 1v3 for Psychosis. It's been done before. Kilo just did it a few rounds ago. But Psychosis not only has to get his way through this objective, he has to get that diffuser back and then get those kills off of it. And guess what? His location, it has been telegraphed. He shot that alibi hologram. Everyone knows where he is. So any entry point he tries to make will likely not last very long. He's got someone to contend with. That's Swaylin on the other side of the reinforcement. And a well-timed swing from Swaylin will finish off the round and move one round closer to tying us up and completing that comeback.
It's time, Jonah. It's time.
It's time.
What time it is? You know what time it is? We gave one shot a lot of flack with their attacks. I think it's time we do the same for AQ. You feeling it?
I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay. One shot, they couldn't clear a roam for the life of them. If the fate of the world was on the line, Real Folk Blues is playing in the background. One shot could not win it. Not if the fate of the world was on the line. AQ, don't even think about having a two-dimensional attack. We're in one dimensions right now. It is dots on the screen. AQ tried to go for a direct take when One Shot have set up the site specifically to counter a direct take, to allow Prod to get aggressive on that single panel, to take fights with the player outside on bedroom. And what do AQ do? They try to clear out the bathroom shield, which is good, but beyond that, even going for nades is risky because, again, you're exposing yourself to these angles. AQ have shown zero adaptability, zero athleticism, quote CJ, and that has partially been the cause of this one-shot comeback. AQ, very simplistic attacks, and One Shot just able to play their setup to a T to counter exactly what AQ are doing.
Well, Aqualix, they are on their last breath in terms of getting the full 3 points. And, I mean, when you're at 2 points total for the stage, the 3 points would be really nice. Going to overtime, of course, would limit the winning potential of one of these teams and would guarantee that even the losing team is able to get at least 1 point on the scoreboard here. And that's really all that One Shot can hope for. It is at least getting those 1 or 2 points. But the momentum, at least if we're thinking in terms of who's got the control and who's got the confidence now at this point in the game, well, that is all going One Shot's way. They're clearly feeling good. They're playing well, and they're playing coordinated enough to get 4 rounds in a row. Rather, yeah, 4 rounds in a row. And they are hunting for their 5th. Direct attack, though, from Aqualix is what they're going to have to deal with. Not a lot of vertical pressure being established from the attack right now. It is all horizontal, and that's what Kilo is keeping a watchful eye on.
He's been droned multiple times, though, and I'll commend AQ for that. They have got a bead on Kilo's position, whether he's in library or on red stairs, and right now, that's where he lies. In Psychosis, he is well aware of this fact. Tucked just around the corner, Psycho can't take the fight without fully committing down that hallway. I could expose him to other angles from One Shot. Yana Clone goes in, confirms once again that Kilo is playing on red stairs. Now the pulse goes back. I like this from AQ. Take the time in the early round. Try and push these players back and don't just play directly into One Shot's hands. As you mentioned earlier, Jonah, it's still a direct take. All they have is this horizontal. Pulse still in sight with 2 C4s to work with between him and Swaylin, and One Shot still have that vertical control as well. AQ don't have a lot going for them beyond this living room and library. Now, they got something.
They got something. Penguin, totally by himself, by the way, and with his own drones, was able to get enough intel to take down NBK, who got a little complacent up top. Now Penguin, he's got a good bit of control. Not all the control in the world, but enough to give this attacking team a little more freedom in how they move around. He does have to be careful because Razor is lurking around the other side. Afer, though, taking down Prod means that Razor, he's going to have to get back to the site. He does so with a thunderous entry. He gets 2 players. He drops the case right in front of him, but Hat claps back just in the nick of time. Swaylin and Kilo, last hope here for One Shot. Kilo's lost. Swaylin now stuck in laundry. Is this position known? Well, now it is. C4 goes up and ripped over, but finds nothing, gets one, and that's a good shot. And Hat, he's gonna have to stick this diffuser Swalen. He's gonna have to step up and deny it, and he can't do it. Finally, Aqualix close it out, but they do it at the last possible moment in regulation. 7-5 will be the score on Villa, as Aqualix went through quite a bumpy road to get there, but they reached the finish line nonetheless.
The cruelest way to end a game, Jonah. They go up 6-1, and they let one shot win 4 rounds in a row, only to snuff out the candle, right as we thought it was going to be a one-shot victory. And I want to commend both teams' defensive halves, by the way. I thought each team played a great defense, solid setups, Aqualix more aggressive, one shot more, bunkering even when they were extending. Both teams played a great defense. Now, both teams did not play a great attack. I think we can all agree on that. Attacks, Aqualix one shot, they need to be worked on, need to go back to the drawing board, at least for Villa. But the one thing I want to end this with, Jonah, is congratulations to AQ getting their, not only their second victory, but their first regulation victory.
Yes.
But also, congratulations, because not only is CJ right, this game had a whole lot more to one shot, and now you just upset them in regulation because might as well.
Might as well. They've retaken, actually overtaken, one shot on the overall stage 3 leaderboard. One shot had 4 points, Aqualix had 2. That's a nice little 3-point kick. 5-4 now. They would love to change that up. So to break this one down further, it is back to the analyst desk we go to tell us exactly how the pasta gets made.
I'm not talking about pasta. There's no, I'm sorry. We're getting off of the pasta topic. No Gordon Ramsay, no Gavini, nothing like that. We are going to talk about Aqualix right now. And in the words of Lynx, I think when he says we can all agree, there are a few things we can all agree. And I think we can all agree that some games aren't always as rosy as other games. And Cookies, this one this one was a burner. This was an interesting match.
Yeah, I mean, Bernie, remember when I spoke my critical point? I was like, go out fireworks. Remember that critical point? Remember how I was right? Because that's just another way that I'm right? Going out in fireworks led to Aqualix having a 6-1 lead. You know, Penguins walking around as not doing whatever. You know, they're having a good time on defense. We have a Cav, an interrogation. It was giving one-shot fits on their boring, pathetic attacks, right? And that's exactly what I wanted to see out of Aqualix. That's what led to that lead. And then the problem is, it's really hard to translate that to attack, as we saw for Aqualix. There was a whole lot of trolling. There was a lot of step skipping, maybe things that weren't droned. A 1v3 that was, you know, one thing we can't question on one-shot side is Kilo's passion and his love for the game, man. Because that 1v3 was just pure passion and dedication and T-Hunt. But it's also just Aqualix being careless. And I guess that kind of sums up the game, because Kilo was fighting back. He wasn't getting a lot of help. And Aqualix was having fun out there. And that's what we got today.
Well, but Tanner, this is what, like, why hasn't Aqualix been having fun like that throughout this stage? Like, I know attack differs from defense. It's two different worlds, but like, come on, we need, like, what? Where was that all stage?
I don't know. I have no idea why it takes them to the end of the stage to get things done. I mean, we saw it with Penguin specifically in Parabellum in stage 3 of last year. It took them to the breaking point where they had no more options. They had to win. They needed that pressure, and they won, and they went into playoffs and they won it out. But here, you know, it was just a little bit too slow getting started. It's unfortunate. This is a roster with a lot of talented players on it, but there's no reason why they should be, you know, underperforming the way that they have. You know, kudos to them though. Today they did look really strong, especially on their attack app. Penguin looked absolutely light, so he got an interrogation on a Nook. Like, there's not really much else to say. And I got to give Cookies credit. Like, this is, I didn't see this happening, and you know, they pulled it out, and Cookie saw it coming. So good shit.
Well, I'm glad you said it, because I don't like giving Cookies credit. But what we will do is give some credit to Psychosis right now. I'll give him a little bit of congratulations and ask him some questions. Psychosis, it's been a while that we've been able to sit down and have a chat. Congratulations on the win. I gotta ask, that first attacking half, you guys were phenomenal. I don't know, where was that energy so far this stage? Because we know what you guys can accomplish. You guys are like really good.
Well, we went into this game knowing like our playstyle like counters one shot very well, and like we just decided, just like let's just play the game and have fun, and yeah, it worked out.
And what are some of the struggles that you've I don't know, experienced in this stage so far? Why haven't you guys been able to achieve the most that we know you can?
I mean, I think it has to do a lot with like the losing streak that we had. Like the second week wasn't like that great for us, and then like after that second week, like we didn't get the best practice times in and etc. So like it kind of just rolled downhill from there. And like I guess like mentally like we weren't exactly like there, and like we just needed like a reset.
And in this game specifically, you guys obviously had the 6-1 lead, but things started sliding in the other direction. How did you guys make sure that you corrected that to close it out?
We just identified the mistakes that we were making on those rounds. Like, for example, whenever I Kilo clutched that one time, which would have like, we would have won like what, 7-1, I think. Like we just like realized that like the attack went perfectly fine. It's just like in the end, like we just weren't like holding crosses and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like a lot of rounds came down to like those small things. So after like the second rotation of the sites, like we had it down.
Well, a big victory for you guys today. Thank you so much for your time, Psychosis, and best of luck for the next couple games.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
I mean, it feels good to see Aqualix back in the win column again, I'm not going to lie, but it's not just about them today. It's about a few more teams yet to come. 2 more games on the day. After the quick break, we'll come back with Reality TV taking on Favela.